Shabbat Shalom. So you guys all look blurry to me out there, but I can't read with my glasses on. So we'll get through this though. So Vayera was the parsha I had this week, and which means "and I appeared." So interesting about this, I had this very same exact Drash last year. I was like, this sounds familiar. So in this parsha, Adonai reveals himself to Moses, basically saying, take out the children of Israel from Egypt, deliver them from their enslavement, redeem them, and acquire them as his chosen people. He will then bring them to the land he had promised, Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov, as their eternal heritage. Moses and Aaron repeatedly come before Adonai to demand in the name of Adonai, let my people go so that they may serve me in the wilderness. Pharaoh repeatedly refuses. Aaron's staff turns into snakes and swallow the magic staffs of the Egyptian sorcerers. Adonai then sends a series of plagues upon the Egyptians. As we all know, the waters of the Nile turned to blood. Swarms of frogs ran over this land. Lice infested all men and beasts. Hordes of wild animals invaded the cities. A pestilence killed the domestic animals, and painful boils afflicted the Egyptians. For the seventh plague, fire and ice combined and descended from the skies as a devastating hail. Still, the heart of Pharaoh was hardened, and he would not let the children of Israel go. You can stay tuned next week for the rest of them. So as I was studying this week, it was the seventh plague is where I kept getting drawn to. The plague that made the way for the final exodus of Egypt was hail. In Exodus, I think there might be a slide for this. Yes. Exodus 9:17 through 26 says, since you are still setting yourself up against my people and not letting them go, tomorrow about this time I will cause a hailstorm so heavy that Egypt has had nothing like it from the day it was founded until now. Therefore, send and hurry to bring indoors all your livestock and everything else you have in the field. For hail will fall on every human being and animal left in the field that hasn't been brought home, and they will die. Whoever among Pharaoh's servants feared what Adonai had said had his slaves and livestock escape into the houses. But those who had no regard for what Adonai had said left their slaves and livestock in the field. Adonai said to Moshe, reach out your hand toward the sky so that there will be hail in all the land of Egypt, falling on people, animals, and everything growing in the field throughout the land of Egypt. Moshe reached out his staff toward the sky, and Adonai set thunder and hail and fire down on the earth. Adonai caused it to hail on the land of Egypt. It hailed, the fire flashed up from the hail. It was terrible, worse than any hailstorm in all of Egypt since it became a nation. Throughout all the land of Egypt, the hail struck everything in the field, people and animals, and the hail struck every plant growing in the field and broke every tree there. But in the land of Goshen, where the people of Israel were, there was no hail. So enormous hailstones rained down, destroying Egyptian crops and damaging their fields. But the Torah adds a miraculous detail. It states that each hailstone contained a flame of fire that burned inside of it. What purpose did that serve? So last year in my Drash, I remember learning that the plagues were not just to dismantle Egypt's infrastructure, but they also provided power forces that showed the Jewish people how mighty Adonai was and what he was capable of doing. So each plague carried a lesson in the journey of growth and true freedom. So what could the lesson be regarding the hail with fire inside? When we think about hail, it's cold and icy and symbolizes insensitivity and indifference to other people and their needs. The hail person could be some that appear to lack the capacity to care and to be compassionate or to love. This is someone that seems totally cold and couldn't care about anything or anyone. Is this person beyond hope? Can a spark of love be ignited? With this plague, the Torah declared that even the stone heart can be aroused. Every person has a flame of love and compassion within them, but with some, as in Pharaoh's case, it is a love of self, driven by ego and channeled inwards rather than towards others. The result of selfishness and care for oneself with insensitivity to others. The fire burns out, but it is hidden inside that ice. Perhaps that fire inside that hail is a spark. It's a spark to keep us lighted for when the world comes in around us and glazes us over. All that needs to happen is for the ice to melt and the fire of love and compassion will be visible to all. But how do we achieve and how do we keep that fire burning and not let the ice glaze over? So along with studying for my Drash this week, my sister and I, by telephone, Zoom, whatever you want to call it, we've been doing a study on the armor of God as well. So it kind of tied into what this Drash and how we keep ourselves burning bright. So, and I know right now I most definitely need it more than ever. It just keeps seeming that battles keep coming, and when you think you've had the worst, here comes another one. So this is where I am trying to put my feet right now. So you can find the armor of God in Ephesians 6:10 through 18. First, we have the belt of truth. The belt of truth holds Adonai close to us, right at the core of your being. When faced with questions and situations, pause and ask Adonai for direction and to show you the truth. The breastplate of righteousness serves as our heart protection to keep us pure in love, to remain holy in all we do, to ward off habits of our old self. The gospel of peace at your feet allows you to walk and stand in a way that is not hurried or reactive. Use the gospel of peace to rest. Use it as a motivation, as a guide to your purpose. Shield of faith gives us confidence and defend ourselves with difficult attacks of doubt, fear, and inadequacy. Use it to protect yourself against lies of the enemy, to ensure with trust and confidence, and use it as a reminder that you have victory in Yeshua. Helmet of salvation serves as another protection and security that covers our minds and ideas. The helmet of salvation can be used as our resting hope that better is coming, and we can hold tight to our Savior and to remember who is the head of our life. The sword of the Spirit will always be the word of Adonai. Use the sword of the Spirit as a mirror to reflect the power we get from knowing, believing, and acting on the word of Adonai. Use it as a tool to penetrate places, to soften and break through the hardness of your enemy, and use it as a strategy to keep the enemy away. Put the word of Adonai in your heart. And then prayer, the one that most of us forget and that we don't like to ask others for. But we need to use prayer to seek Adonai for understanding, for the game plan. He knows what the big picture is. We don't, but he does. Use prayer to ask Adonai to partner with you in battle. Ask him to partner with you as you stand against the enemy. And use prayer to show gratitude for the victory ahead, to endure to the end. So these are some ways to keep your flame burning and not letting the ice glaze upon you, because life is hard. We know that. And we can easily become bitter and hard-hearted, and our flame will diminish. For those that you know that are like hail, show them love and compassion and walk in the ways of Yeshua. Shabbat Shalom.